All right, so we are live, and I am trying to get on Instagram as well. I don't know why it says go live. Go up, go live, go live. Connect streaming software, go live. Here we go. There we are. So we are live on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And here's the thing. Do you want to make 2025 your best year yet without feeling overwhelmed by goal setting? And so today I'm going to be sharing a fun and inspiring way to set meaningful goals for yourself and your family using a simple tool. It's a bingo card. You'll see how my daughter, my husband, and I are using this to map out our everything from fun goals to powerful habits that lead to success. So I will also be sharing the template that I'm using. So excited to have you. Let me share my screen here. I think I can do that. No, add stage. There we are. Okay, so first I'm going to share this bingo card with you. And this was inspired by my daughter. I think she saw it somewhere, right? And I'm going to show you how we're doing it to set up our goals, give you some examples of what we're doing and how they're focusing on accomplishing certain things, doing certain things. And my focus is more on the habits that are going to lead to those. So kind of give you both of those. And I'll also be sharing the template if you want to create your own, how to do this. So first of all, this is the bingo card. And so my daughter, she has set up, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of small, but just some of the things that she wants to accomplish in 2025. So hike Timpanogos, a Hawaii trip, a Europe trip, new piercing, which I was like, what? I didn't know that. Spartan race, save $10,000, 10 pull-ups. I can't even do one. Read 50 books. So she's just set it up. These are the things that she wants to accomplish. And she has some pretty big things in there. You go, girl. 50,000 followers, rollerblades. So whatever it is that's important to you, whether that's any aspect of life. My husband did the same thing, and he has some bigger ones and then smaller ones in there. So movie with the kids. So when he accomplishes that, he's going to mark it off. And I don't know if he's going to give himself a reward every time he gets a bingo, but double date with Caleb and Marley. So that's our son and daughter-in-law, and double date with Jeremy and Berkeley, which is my son and daughter-in-law. Read all of the Saints books, go to Jamaica. So some of these are already set in place. Some of them are oh yeah, I want to do this by the end of the year. One of the things that he did do, and I think this is totally funny, that each season he wants to walk to work. So he did that this winter, and it's 5.5 miles to work. And he's very athletic. He does CrossFit every day. He's just amazing. But after doing that, walking there and then walking home, he's like, oh, I got a little bit of chafing because he doesn't normally walk to work in his work clothes, in suit and whatever. So that just kind of gives you some ideas of things that you could do for 2025. Just make it fun. It can be easy things, hard things, big things. I would probably mix it up. Now, I did mine a little bit different, and I set it up quarter one. So for this first quarter, and I am focused more on the habits that will lead to whatever the goal is. Because I know that when we focus on habits, the small things that we can do, and we're consistent in them over time, that we will create sustainable success. We won't be one of those that in January sets our goal, our resolution, or whatever, and then gets overwhelmed or discouraged and doesn't do it. I remember when I was working out, there was a rec center, and come every January, there were a lot more people in the gym. And there were some people that were running around the track that I hadn't seen there before. And one of them in particular was this highly overweight guy. And he was busting it out. You could tell he was working really, really hard. He probably set his, resolution that he wanted to get in shape, lose some weight, be healthier, maybe had, health issues that he was dealing with. And kudos to him. However, I knew that if he continued to do that, if that's the way he was working out, that he was going to quit, because that was miserable. He looked miserable. And there was no way, he's going to come back the next day and be so sore. And that in his mind, every time that he was going to go to the gym, he's going to have so much resistance because it was miserable. Now, if I were giving him counsel, I'd be just focus on getting to the gym. Just be there. Just walk. Do whatever is easy for you and don't make it too hard, right? Just focus on the habit of getting to the gym. Don't kill yourself. Like you could always up your workout as you are starting to see progress, but you're setting yourself up for disaster. And that's how most of us set our goals. Like I have this big lofty goal and then I get discouraged because I don't feel like I'm moving towards it. So what I did is I have my goals in mind of what I want to accomplish in 2025, but then I just broke them down by quarter on the habits that would lead to that. And I put them into spiritual, business, physical, mental, and relationships. That's how I did that. So for instance, for spiritual, daily prayer to partner with God in all areas of life, that I want to receive inspiration. I want to partner with that because I know like whatever I do, if I'm doing it led by God, that it's going to be better than I could ever do myself. And I will feel good about that. And also just this whole concept of that we have a stewardship. So I might have certain business goals, right? Like I'm trying to accomplish this. And here's like my most important task that I need to do today that I've already decided because one of my habits is daily and weekly planning. So let's say I just set that up and today, these are the three things that I want to get accomplished. But then something happens. Like I get a phone call from school that my daughter's sick and I need to go pick her up. And in the past, that might be kind of frustrating. Like, oh, how am I going to get these things done? This is really important to my goals. And it could just feel overwhelming, especially as a mompreneur trying to manage household, family responsibilities, and business stuff, especially if you're working from home. But if I'm looking at my whole life as a stewardship, my business is a stewardship, that my family, my children, my relationships, all of this, my body is a stewardship. And I'm going to take care of it the best that I can and trying to partner with God. And so at that time, when you get the phone call and it's kind of messing up what you thought your plans were for the day, then maybe God's saying like, no, part of your stewardship is taking care of this amazing child. And that it takes off that overwhelm. And it also makes it so it's not like an excuse, like, oh, I have all these things that always come up, right? But I'm looking at hard times, good times, blessings that come into my life as a stewardship. And how can I take care of them and partner with God? So that's just like one of the habits and other things that to help me with my spiritual growth and staying connected to the things that are most important. Because I know, like, especially on online, if you're watching and on social media, there's so much garbage out there, right? That just totally distracts us from the things that are most important. It's kind of going up on my pedestal. But when we're setting our goals, like sometimes we need to eliminate the distractions, but we also need to fill our life with things that will crowd out other stuff. So that's where I'm really focusing on habits that will crowd out other things in my life that are of lesser importance. So number one, spirituality in my business. So I have a goal this month to create an additional $150,000 in revenue from a totally different business. So I have a multi-million-dollar business with doTERRA, some other things that I do, investments and things, but this is totally outside of that. So that's my goal. But I didn't put the goal on here. I'm putting the habits that are going to lead to that, right? So one of them is a daily inspired Instagram, YouTube live. So that's what I'm committing to. And did I know how to go on here and share and do all this stuff? No, but I needed to learn. I knew that I needed to learn whatever I needed to do to be able to do this habit and then stay consistent at it. Because just imagine if I do 365 lives, how much better am I going to be at speaking, preparing, the things that I'm going to need to grow in just by doing that. It's the same thing with maybe a health habit, with running. Maybe you're not good at something yet, but you want to be able to run a marathon. So breaking that down, what's the habit that I'm going to need to do to get there? And what for quarter one, what is it that I should focus on? Because if you're not even moving your body, you might say, well, maybe I just want to get out and walk. And each time that I walk, I'm going to walk just a little bit further. And maybe I'm going to add some cross training in there, right? And I'm going to do it at this time for this amount of time, and just make it easy though and simple. And then you can build on that habit. You can make it a little bit harder or add other things to it. But another thing with my business is a weekly Mompreneur email. So I'm very focused on helping mompreneurs to feel great, to look great, and to live great in their lives, because I just know how important it is to be a mom, but also if you feel called to have a business and to be able to run that, especially if you're running it from home, there's so many things going on. How can we balance all of those things so that we're not missing out in different areas of our life, right? So we're not focused solely on one and other things are going to pot, right? So that's why, again, with the habits, if we're setting these habits in place, that we can do well in all areas of life. So physical, 10,000 steps, 6 days a week. That's my habit that I'm going to do. Now, I'm one that likes to run, so I already have that habit in place, but I don't always get to that 10,000. So that's where I'm up leveling my habit. And so tracking that and seeing like, oh, well, if I'm not there yet towards the middle of the day, then I might need to get up out of my seat, out of my office and go walk around and do something. But that also plays into one of my mental health habits, is to go outside daily. That's why I'm dressed like this, because I know that I'm going to be heading out sometime today. And when you live in Utah and it's cold and it's dark, sometimes you just don't want to get outside. And the air in our homes inside is actually more toxic than it is outside. Also, being able to go out and get that vitamin D from a natural source is great for mental health. So there's just many different things that play into that. I also want to write in a story journal daily. And these will be the inspired things that come to me that I've either learned or want to share or want to learn about, and then being able to share those tips with my mompreneurs, right? So I have been in the space of being a mompreneur for over 20 years. I worked from home when my first baby of 6 was born. And then I was laid off from that corporate job after 9/11. And that just kind of led into entrepreneurship and being able to have a business that I did from home that allowed me to create amazing income, to continue to develop the skills and use the education that I learned in school, and just continue to grow as a human, but then also feel like I'm there and present and available for my family as they're growing. And so just being able to see where you could be in like 5 years, 10 years from now. Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be strong? Do you want to be mentally tough? Do you want to have additional income stream, right? Like, what are the habits that you could put in place? So I love this. Hello, everyone's on there. I would love to hear from you. What would be something that you would put on your 2025 bingo card? What is something that excites you that you want to do in 2025? And then think about like what habit, right? So if you want to comment, if you're watching the live or if you're watching the replay, what's something that you would want to put on your 2025 bingo card? And then in addition, if you want like this Canva template, I can send that to you. Just comment bingo and I will send you the URL so that you can make a copy yourself and just fill it in instead of wasting time creating your own. Super easy to do that. But I would love to know what's going on. And then also that tomorrow I will be sharing one of the habits that I am implementing that is already making a huge difference in my life. And so I'll be sharing that tomorrow and would love to hear from you. So anybody want that bingo card, just comment bingo. And I would love to hear what's something that excites you that you want to put on your 2025 bingo card. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.